Lockdown turbo relationships. That's what they call it. You finally cross paths with someone good, and then boom, Big Boris tells you to stay at home. Fancy getting a hotel? I text the fella I've only met twice. Boozer's shut at 10 and a few hours of chat wasn't going to be enough for us. The prices of rooms are on their arse because of lockdown too. Aye, he replies, not thinking twice about it. Smashing. Meet you by the station in an hour? Aye. Curry wee. Kiss. I've got Mark Zuckerberg to thank for this one. This fella gave me a compliment on the old Facebook, and I replied telling him that he made a hot woman. It was true. That body swap filter is something else. Billy's a handsome bastard. I have a good feeling about him. We couldn't muster up the courage for a peck on our second date, let alone do the deed in the hotel. It's simply our bar for the night. Who needs the duties when old Trump's got a Twitter? I joke at Chicken. One glass leads to another, and before we know what's happening, the election's over and it's time to hit him as bubble buddies. Is there harm in having one last day inside together after spending the night in the hotel, I think? I dread to think what I could have done while we were both asleep. But the hotel would have had hundreds of cameras. I'm too hungover to give my OCD a second thought. It was just my luck to get the worrying disease. First it was a fear of getting sick as a ween, and now it's causing every type of harm imaginable. Hangovers are a bastard at the best of times, never mind when you have to wear a face mask. I open the taxi window and take a deep breath. In and out. In and out. Do we need to stop? Billy asks. I shake my head. I can just about manage. President Trump has tweeted to say that he has won the US election, but ballots are still being counted, a voice says over the radio. A projectile vomit into my mask, almost blowing it clean off my face. The Uber driver screams, quickly pulling over. The postal ballots counted so far suggest there could be a huge swing in the Democrats' favour, the man on the radio continues. The only person having a worse day than me is the tangerine walloper in the White House. Face masks work, Billy jokes. I jump out the Uber and spew my guts up onto the side of the road. I can taste the gin I guzzled as each wee American state turned red instead of blue. But at least things are looking up for old Joe, I think, retching up the last of my stomach. I step back into the Uber, mortified. The chunder queen of the pandemic. Thanks for being good-humoured about it, Billy says to the driver, who hands me a new mask and baby wipes. My top floor room's like an oven, even though we're well into the winter of corona discontent. We slump into my bed. Anyone else would have run a mile the moment my eyes are shut, but no Billy. He puts his arm around me and we're out like a light. By the time I'm feeling less like the Donald shriveled ballsack, it's dark out, but I offer to cook Billy dinner. It's the least I could do. An OCD thought pops up as we walk through the aisles of the big Sainsbury's. What if you woke up and called your old manager a prick on LinkedIn last night? I push it out my head. Can I eat gluten without chundering myself? He jokes. I'm glad to see there's no been a repeat of the toilet paper apocalypse. Nay bother, I say, directing him to the old free-from section. You know, he says, you're ticking boxes I didn't know I had. What do you mean? I'm an awkward eater. You're celiac. I'm hardly going to let you shite yourself after I pick up some gluten-free wraps and biscuits. He doesn't bring up the chunder again. The last last time I waited in front of my pals was 3 years ago, and they've never let me hear the end of it. They'll have a field day when they get a wind of this one. That's no to mention when I waited on my poor wee hamster after overestimating my stomach after the Rona. The filthy wee bugger started eating it. It took a week's worth of baths before he looked like a normal rodent again. Billy taps his card at the till, even though I owe him one. Thanks, I say. You didn't have to do that. I do my best Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen and insist that I didn't need a ham. 20 minutes later, he's getting tore into fajita after I tell him to tuck in first. I look at my plate and wince. I still didn't trust my stomach. You're gonna do something to fuck this up, OCD says. Shut up, I shout internally. Delicious, he says. My lips curl into a wee smile. I'm clawing this one back from chunder queen to girlfriend material, one bite at a time. Eventually, I help myself to a fajita and all. I put on a wee bit of slap after Sainsbury's, but I was still conscious of the whitey in my hair. Oh God, I think. Donald's balls probably smell mair bonny than me the now. I projectile vomited into my mask, I say, unable to ignore the elephant I think is in the room any longer. And it was hilarious, Billy says. You've been funny since day one. I'm beaming now. I stand, putting down my half-empty plate. I've been through the mill this year, like every other bugger. It's hard to believe that my luck might have changed. He stands and all. We look out the window. Fireworks sparkle above the city's twinkling orange and yellow lights, raining down like multicoloured stars. I'm not all funny though, I say. I told you before we met, I've got a problem, and if you like me, OCD's part of the deal and all. I know. There's some things in my life that I'm never going to know for sure, I say. Those black spots on nights out. I can't remember every detail about my life, and I'm scared. He looks at me understandingly. It's okay. No, it's not. I can't guarantee you I will not cheat or something because I didn't trust my own brain. That's what it's telling you right now. Here's this lovely lad, and you're going to hurt him and no remember it. I could have done so many terrible things and no remember them, and the only way I can deal with it is to tell myself that it isn't me. Maybe I was possessed or something. I've had those thoughts too. You have? Aye. I'm not calling it OCD, but there's been times when I've worried for weeks about what may or may not have happened on a night out, he says. OCD latches onto the things you care about, and I like you. I want to trust Billy, but the ghosts of my past are running riot in my head. The last thing I want to do is hurt him. You can only win by accepting the thoughts as true. It takes the wind out their sails. He nods. That makes sense. How about we say we're open when I can't remember things, and then I can't do naught when I'm not here to hurt you? Well, I'm good with that, he says, smiling. Really? Really? Bang! A rocket shoots up into the darkness, whistling through the closed window. Its sparkles crackle through the sky. I wish it was the new year, I say, but I'm scared to hope it'll be better. Well, one thing's for sure. Some things are looking up for next year, Billy says, giving my arm a squeeze. There's another bang in the distance. I take his hand and we look up at the night sky.